kidney disease is a silent disease for most people. It didn't affect our daily life for a long time, until it did.
To Bethany and Curtis Martin, family life means everything. But if it hadn't been for someone special in Bethany's family, Curtis might have lost his life.
It was pretty scary. Nobody wants to hear, hey, you've got a life-threatening issue here. If you don't do this, take care of it, you could die.
Shortly after Curtis Martin married his wife Bethany 15 years ago, they learned he has a disease that causes the immune system to attack the kidneys. For a long time, it was under control, but last year his symptoms suddenly began getting worse.
I told them that they needed to pursue transplant. Now, I have to say they were a little bit shocked. They hadn't heard this before.
I think both of our jaws hit the ground. I mean, we didn't even know what to say, or we didn't even turn, I don't think, and look at each other because we were just in such shock about it.
Once the shock wore off, reality set in. The wait for a kidney from a deceased donor can take 3 to 5 years, which meant Curtis would have to go on dialysis, a terrible option for a young father and active outdoorsman. So Bethany began searching for a living donor.
I was Curtis's kidney champion. Curtis has always been pretty private about his disease, kind of reserved. So to go from people not knowing that you even have a disease to finding out that you're critically ill and that you need a kidney was something that he wasn't comfortable, doing. It's not like you're asking somebody to borrow $5. You're asking him for a kidney.
I married into this family. It's an in-law thing.
Steve Blacksher is Bethany's uncle, so he and Curtis are not related by blood. But that's not required to be a kidney donor. So Steve volunteered for testing to see if he was a potential match. He got the results back 2 days before Christmas.
I remember calling and getting Curtis and Bethany on the line. I said, well, Merry Christmas. They tell me I can donate a kidney. Do you know anybody that needs one?
He didn't have to do it. He did it only out of the kindness of his heart. And you can't really put that into words. I mean, it takes a great person, very kind and loving person that's willing to do that for somebody. But we kind of laugh about it the best we can, He told me a long time ago that thanks was all he needed.
The Martin family lives in Springfield, Missouri, but would have to go elsewhere to get help from a world-renowned transplant team. Curtis's kidney doctor strongly recommended SSM Health St. Louis University Hospital, especially since SSM Health recently found a way of extending to Springfield its mission of providing personal, present care.
There is a SSM Health St. Louis University transplant clinic in Springfield, and that's been a real win for our patients. And I'm not talking just about the difficulty driving to St. Louis. I'm talking about the idea that they can stay in their community and they can start this process, which is a daunting process for them. To start it in their community and feel comfortable is great for my patients.
The transplant was successful, and Curtis and Bethany say the treatment they received at SSM Health St. Louis University Hospital was outstanding. But for Steve, who serves as a church pastor, it was also a spiritual experience.
I really plugged into the mission of SSM Health St. Louis University Hospital, where through our exceptional care, we reveal the presence of God. And literally, that presence was felt at almost every step of the way.
Steve also felt the presence of his church family. The sewing circle made quilts for Steve and Curtis so their hospital beds would feel more like home. And now that they are out of the hospital, Steve and Curtis feel even more like family, all thanks to a good man who was also a good match.
Can't ever thank him enough. There's not like great words to say, I mean.
That's why thank you is enough. It's just simpler that way.
Yeah.